Hello and welcome to episode 8 of the Regista Football Podcast. My name is Jack. As always, I'm joined by my co-host Ben. How are you doing, sir?
I'm great, Jack. How are you?
I'm doing all right. If you guys can't notice already, I'm a bit plugged up, so I sound a bit odd, but hopefully we can navigate that and have a great show either way. Our order of operations today, what are we going over? So we're going to be going over the games on the weekend between Bournemouth and Liverpool and Arsenal and Man United. We're also going to revisit the segment we did last week, which was the lucky versus good. We both enjoyed that a lot and we had some decent feedback on it. What else are we doing, Ben?
We're also going to be doing a brief overview of UCL reviews as well as what's coming up. We'll check a general table review, any surprises, any of the crazy game weeks. Obviously, we're going to review the Liverpool game, the Arsenal game, and then we're also going to do a little pulse check, how we're feeling.
Brilliant. Let's get into it. So let's start with kind of like the least exciting of the two Premier League games. Actually, depending on your outlook. Our game was fucking nuts, and so was yours. Funnily enough, they both ended 3-2 in the way we didn't want them to. So we're going to get into that. Overview of that Liverpool game. So I'm going to paint you this canvas. So Bournemouth come into this game with one win in 14, and probably just as many as injuries of Liverpool. Maybe even more, by the way. However, Dr. Liverpool comes along, gives him this game. We lose in the final minutes, and we'll touch on that. But this game makes it 5 times Liverpool have managed to lose games in stoppage time, making that the highest total of that type of loss in the Premier League era. And honestly, an absolute kick in the teeth, at least for me. So, like, from my perspective, I thought overall the game was a bit of an interesting one because Ekatike immediately started on the bench.
Mm-hmm.
Which, we only have one number 9 fit, so we need a guy up there. He decided to start with Cody Gakpo instead. You know how I feel about that. Partnering him was Mohamed Salah in the structure we were playing. We were still doing that 4-2-2 thing, which got absolutely ran through. Gomez starts for Konate again because Slot kind of alluded to at the start of the game that Konate is still going through a tough time with the stuff that's happened with his father, so he's still out. First half was a weird one in that game. Actually, I came into it somewhat confident because we were 14 unbeaten at the time, and I'd say ultimately Liverpool were the better team in that first 20 minutes. But like being the better team can only mean so much when you're not really generating many chances, and I think ultimately that's been the major theme of Liverpool throughout these 14 games, Ben.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like I didn't get to watch the game in full, but I was watching highlights and just kind of checking out just overall how Liverpool were doing. And what really, like, you said this last week, right? This like stagnant possession that they've been having, and it kind of felt like it kept happening again and again in this game.
Yeah, and that's kind of been a theme really throughout these 14 games unbeaten. I think that's actually a big reason why we've been unbeaten, by the way. Just the ability to almost make sections of the game irrelevant to the actual scoreline because we just control the ball and we don't do a lot with it. I think their aim is to create chances, but just the overall confidence and the execution at the moment is really where we are. I would say the game really changes when Bournemouth go 1-0 up, and the scenario is pretty fucking annoying. I'm not going to lie. No one presses their right centre back. I can't remember who started at right centre back from them on the back line. Like, no one presses him at all. He has a bunch of space and he just puts this fucking ball right over the top. Not even a diag, just straight forward. Alex Scott, who is a ex-Bristol City graduate, is on the byline. Virgil van Dijk could do something with it. So Van Dijk looks at it, and you can see when I watch the replay back, on that side, you can see he looks at the ball and he completely misjudges the flight of the ball.
Mm-hmm.
What happens then is Alex Scott somehow manages to keep the ball in, sweat it back for Evan Nilsson. And Evan Nilsson, it's a great finish, to be fair. It's a really good finish. Puts them ahead to go 1-0. And for me, that at that stage of the game, it feels like it's against the run of play. I think we've had the better of that game, although we've not created a bunch of chances. We've definitely been in somewhat of control of that game.
Mm-hmm.
So then when they go 1-0 up, we're in a really difficult scenario because what happens during the goal is Alisson slides out to try and get the ball from Evan Nilsson, and in that moment, he clashes with Joe Gomez. And Joe Gomez, of course, goes down injured. And I say, of course, begrudgingly because I love Joe Gomez, as you guys may have heard in the last episode. But we've never been able to keep him fit. He's never been able to stay fit. He goes off for Wataru Endo, who I'll touch on Wataru Endo kind of when I get to the end of the game, but he comes in for Endo. But during that time where Gomez is injured and Endo is warming up, there's maybe about 7 minutes, let's say. And in that 7 minutes, Ben, I have not seen a least organized, like a worse organized team than Liverpool.
Mm-hmm.
What essentially happens is Van Dijk typically has complete control of the line, but what ends up happening is Gravenberch has to step into centre back, and we're playing with 10 men, so they really have no pressure on the ball.
Mm-hmm.
At that time, Bournemouth starts to get like a foothold in the game and starts to get possession. I'm counting off the minutes, and I can see fucking Endo on the side of the fucking pitch. And Arne Slot, Ben, is going wild at them. He's like, kick the ball out. Kick the ball out. We need to make a sub. And for 7 minutes, we're playing with 10 men, Ben. 7 fucking minutes.
That's wild.
So what ends up happening just before fucking Endo comes on, ball gets played. But basically, a guy has about 25 yards to run into. Nice through ball towards Jimenez, who peels off the back of Kirkes. And nice finish, frankly, from a right back. Like, really good finish. But it puts them 2-0 up. And I feel that's like, we've been jabbing all game. And then suddenly you hit me with 2 big blows and I'm almost finished. And it's like, we don't deserve this. But, like, this is also, at the same token, exactly what we deserve, Ben.
Yeah, it feels like because there's that overall kind of confusion what's going on, and it could be because Gomez just got injured and is trying to find it's before Endo even comes on, but like because of that, they just take advantage of it, and it's that quick 2-goal succession, which is kind of like teams back even further,
Yeah, like honestly, it felt like a huge punch in the face after that happened, and those 2 goals were in quick succession. One of them was in 26 minutes, and the other one was in 33 minutes. And you can see when Endo comes on, the game changes. Like the whole dynamic of that game changes. Bournemouth, which I don't attribute for a team that typically plays deep, started sitting really deep.
Mm-hmm.
They were obviously playing in a low block, and honestly, fair enough to them, because what they've done is they've looked at what we've struggled with in previous games and thought, hey, how about we do something like that? They're not going to be able to break through us. Fortunately, near the end of the first half, we actually score off a corner, Ben. It finally happened. Ball comes through, really good delivery, actually, but what is better than the delivery is the flick on header from Virgil van Dijk to make it 2-1. Yep. And honestly, I think Bournemouth probably felt a bit hard done by to go into like halftime at 2-1 there, because they felt like, we had a 2-goal lead and were relatively comfortable, but Liverpool managed to get it to 2-1 into the second half. And really, from 2-1, the whole game is a similar pattern, Bournemouth are relatively deep. I'd say the game isn't as end-to-end as it could have possibly been. We definitely had more control. But overall, what ended up happening then is we end up getting a free kick kind of around the 80th minute. We don't really create many good chances really from halftime until 75, 80. We start to give them actual pressure, and then all of a sudden we get a free kick. There's this beautiful change of direction by Dominic Szoboszlai that kind of moves the ball slightly to the right, and actually it was by Salah, and then Szoboszlai just whips that ball into the bottom right. Whips the ball, brilliant finish. I remember seeing Liverpool do a few of those a few seasons ago, and I've not seen many of them since, especially since Trent left. But that was a great goal.
Yeah, I would say that's probably my favorite goal of the match. It was just really fantastic. It was a fun little piece that you don't see it happening often anymore. I feel like that was like a huge thing in the mid 2000s, right? Like people would always do these quick little flicks over and then get a hit the ball while it's moving.
And I would say in that period, really, from before, going back a little bit, from before we scored that goal, maybe I think we made subs on 60 minutes. We bought some subs on. We replaced. It was McAllister for Jones, Frimpong for Ekitike for Frimpong, and Szoboszlai then moved into right back. Mm-hmm. I felt like after that we lost some control, and the free kick was a little bit against run of play. It was a bit more end to end until we got that free kick. And when we do get the free kick, the game turns into pure fucking bedlam, Ben, because when Bournemouth realize, oh shit, we've given up a 2-goal lead, we need to start actually playing how Bournemouth do and make it really aggressive. The last I'd say 15 minutes, 16 minutes of the game was absolutely nuts. It was genuinely basketball. each team countering on each other back and forth. I'll be honest with you, like from my perspective, I kind of fancy Liverpool in situations like that. Like I've seen Liverpool do really well in games where they are like really back and forth like that. But kind of gets further near the end of the game. They have two long throws in succession, right? And I say long throws, and dude, I get like PTSD flashbacks from long throws.
Yeah.
They take one long throw. Hill, I think, throws the ball in. We manage to clear it again, and it goes out for the second throw. And there was a part of me that was thinking, as soon as that second throw comes in, it's like, this is the last action of the game for sure. There's not much that's going to happen after this.
Mm-hmm.
Dude comes in, throws it. I'll tell you something. Whenever Van Dijk cannot get first contact on something, it's problems because no one else is getting first contact on anything. Van Dijk doesn't get first contact on it, drops at his feet, and I know as soon as it drops at his feet, starts to play like this pinball game where it bounces around the box a bit. And then the last goal, Adley, I think, just chips it over Alisson, 3-2, another loss in stoppage time. And honestly, at the end of that game, I felt a bit gutted. I didn't feel we genuinely deserved to lose that game, but we did. And that was our first loss in 14. I would say like a few takeaways from that game is, I've spoken about set piece frailties for a really long time here. It's been an issue of ours for the whole of the season. And ultimately, that is why we lose that game and lose that winning record. Salah played so poorly in that game, Ben. He looked really... I'm not sure if I could use the term rusty, but his touch was off. His decision-making was off. And it made me really question, like, is this the guy that I've been watching for the past few years? And it's ultimately one of the best Liverpool players of all time. He had a really poor performance.
Yeah. I felt like, he has been playing in a different position. He's coming back and rejoining the team. And I wonder, and obviously, like, he's probably following different direction as well.
Yeah.
He's done before. And so I wonder if it's just that adjustment period and if he's going to click in, be able to figure it out. But I do agree. I think there was just some poor other just kind of technical things as well. Like when he did get the ball, he didn't look as sharp on it. I know that he had a shot. Was it early on?
Yeah, he had this situation.
Missed. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was the one where like Wirtz cuts it back and he has the opportunity. What's the trademark Salah goal to you? It's him on the... like in that right half space, right?
Yeah, it's in that right half space, hitting it either like top net or somehow putting it on his left foot and putting it across. Yeah.
He does that and he like completely skies it like very high and wide.
Yep.
And then he had this other moment in the game where he was in like the perfect Mo Salah position. He was inside of the box on that right-hand side. Again, I just imagine him turning onto his left foot and whipping it in like the bottom or top corner. And he chooses to pass. And it's the pass isn't on. Like, it really isn't on. And you can see he lost a little... He's not as confident as he was last season. You could see it. And frankly, I don't blame him. But it was very noticeable to me. And it was really like... It made me sad, Like, watching Salah play like that, it made me sad. He didn't have a great game. One of the big things for me, when I know we needed attacking subs in that game, was the lack of options we have on the bench. It's honestly insane. Ekitike didn't start, so he was an option off the bench. But like on 73rd minute, we sub Gakpo for Rio and Guma. I think Rio and Guma is a very talented young player, by the way. But like for him to be the option when we need to score a goal is wild, Ben.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like having that lack of options and not doing business during this period, it kind of shows that, in my mind, Liverpool kind of decided, okay, this is where we are right now. We're going to try to get it done with what we can. And they kind of have to put all of their eggs into the Champions League basket right now, right?
Yeah, and we will definitely get to that a little bit later in the show. Kind of like last thing we'll touch on before we go to the lucky versus good in this game. And it goes to show like what Liverpool have been ultimately the whole of the season. Liverpool dominate that game with 73% possession. They only generate 0.46 in XG, mainly because the Dominic Szoboszlai's goal, we'll get to that, was like super low XG. But ultimately, I come away with not feeling we deserve to win that game. Bournemouth play exactly how they need to play to win it, and they were the better side, and they deserved the result.
Yeah, just looking at it, Bournemouth had a 2.35 XG overall, and then, Liverpool had a 0.93. Liverpool's did have more shots than Bournemouth.
Yeah,
But if we actually look at all the XG factors, like they beat on XG in open play, on set piece, XG on target.
they're just better
So yeah,
in
they
that
were
game,
just better in that game, and
more efficient.
defensively too. They win more tackles. They win 14 interceptions to Liverpool's 4,
Yeah,
and they had 6 blocks. So I mean, they're doing really good.
they made it difficult for us, like when they did get the lead, for us to be able to actively take advantage of the fact that we had consistent possession of the ball. And frankly, I can't hate them. They're the better team throughout that game. They take advantage of moments in the game, and I think we've been so poor in moments this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's Liverpool Bournemouth. The game ends 3-2. Obviously sad about it. After that game, there was quite a lot of murmurings, especially in that evening, actually. And let me touch on this kind of quickly. There was some murmurings of Arne Slot potentially being sacked from the Liverpool fan base, but that was like false dawns from people that have like a bit of a voice on social media. He's not been sacked, and we'll get into that again a bit later. But let's go over to our next game. I'd say the more exciting game, actually, which is kind of difficult because the other game was nuts. Actually, let's do lucky versus good. Let's do that.
Yeah.
Let's start with that first, and then we'll go into the next game. So, like I said, Bournemouth go 1-0 up via Evan Nilsson. That goal, it has a standard XG of 0.26 and then an XG on target of 0.39. Like I said, it was kind of a simple cutback, but it was from like a pretty favorable position for Evan Nilsson. I think, and I don't know about you, but because of how good the play was from Alex Scott, that's just a good goal.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think like the buildup is actually what makes that goal good, right? Like
Yeah,
Alex Scott's like persistence to get past Van Dijk and then keep the ball in, have his wits about him, and then do that little
yeah,
cutback pass is what makes it good.
yeah.
Right?
Like you're completely right. He could have done anything with the ball there, but he chose to make the exact correct decision, and it was a really well delivered ball. I think that's a good goal. We both agree on good.
Yep. Good goal.
Awesome. So they then go 2-0 up via Jimenez. As I said, runs off the back of Kirkes. They have the entire world to run with the ball to deliver that ball through to Jimenez.
Yeah.
The interesting one about this, though, is the XG, the standard XG of that is 0.43, and the XG on target is 0.32. So he doesn't make the most of the chance, but it doesn't matter in the end. I think from my perspective, it's difficult for me to call that a lucky goal because they have to do so much right to get him in that position. I think anytime a shot is worth 0.43, I think that's a good goal.
Yeah, I think like once again, this is one of those things where they did the work to make the goal happen.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
And so like once again, like they had the numbers, they made the right passes, they broke through, and then Jimenez just kind of had to put in the right place and take the shot. So yeah, I'd say it's a good goal.
Okay, so first two are good goals. There's no way I'm saying this Van Dijk isn't a good goal, Ben. The header he gets on that is like, I mean, the standard XG of that is 0.13 and XG on target is 0.75. Like,
Yeah.
that's a great finish. It's like a glancing header that he flicks it basically high and over the goalkeeper into, I'd say the corner is from like the right hand side. He flicks it, goes into the left hand side. Great finish. Do you think that's lucky or good? I think that's a great goal.
Jack, I believe all set piece goals are good. So, it's a good goal. No, I agree. For a set piece goal like that, for a header like that, you kind of need to be able to redirect it. And I think Van Dijk has shown he can do this over and over again. And it's a skill that he has in his belt. And he utilized it perfectly for this goal.
So good.
Good goal.
Good goal. So first 3 goals in this game, guys, good, which is kind of rare. I think it's going to be the first 4 too, because this is the best goal of the game.
Best goal.
Like I said, Liverpool are on a free kick on the left side of the box. Both Mohamed Salah and Dominic Szoboszlai are standing over it. Mohamed Salah, coming from right to left, looks like he's about to kind of kick it with his left. Uses his left to kind of slide it back, maybe a foot. And Dominic Szoboszlai whips this ball fucking hard with crazy velocity right into the bottom right, completely past the keeper. The standard XG of this shot is 0.05, and the XG on target, although it was a great chance, or like a great attempt, it's still only 0.12.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say because of the pure execution of that, it's a good goal. You could argue lucky because it's still a 0.12 chance, but I'm gonna side with good just because of how well taken it is.
Yeah, I think like the actual setup for it was really good. Mo sold the his run
Yeah,
across, a little flick back, and that ball was whipped in hard.
it
The
was.
keeper was not expecting it, and it was a good play.
I would say two because he was running from right to left. There was a slight shift of the wall,
Mm-hmm.
a very slight shift of the wall, and I think that made a bit of a difference for allowing Szoboszlai to like whip the ball round the wall.
Yep,
Yeah, I think that's a good goal. We both agree.
agreed.
Okay, and then 90+5, long throw shenanigans. Liverpool fell to defend the second ball as they typically do. It bounces around the box a lot. I think Allison must get his hand on it at least once.
Mm-hmm.
This is a lucky goal, Ben. So what I would say about this, actually, is the chance itself is worth 0.1 xg, 0.16 xg, and when he hits it, it's 0.5. So this one could go either way for me because of how well Adley does to score. But I'm gonna say lucky because it's pure chaos leading up to it. I had to fall like that for Adley to get the ball there for me.
Yeah, I think it was pure chaos. There was a lot of bouncing around. Adley was there, right place, right time. He hit it well, and it went
Yeah.
in. So yeah, I'd say that was a lucky goal.
Okay. So we've got 5 goals in this game. Both Liverpool's goals are good. 2 of Bournemouth's goals are good, and then they've got a lucky one as well. A 3-2 to Bournemouth, unfortunately, ending Liverpool's 14-game winning run. Let's move on to Arsenal Man United.
Yeah, let's move on to Arsenal Man United. Yeah, as you mentioned at the top, another game that was 3-2 not in our way. And I want to just talk about some notable changes and also like context of this match before we really get into it. And Kapie is back in the team who's starting on the left, and then Timber is starting on the right. Does Gabriel Jesus start, which I was really happy about. I was hoping that he would get a start soon just because he's been looking a little sharper. And we
Agree.
can only have him for 6 weeks before he gets injured again. So I was like, man, let's get him to start at some point.
6 weeks sounds like a long time.
It does. And like, I mean, if you remember Gabriel Jesus against he likes playing a game against United. Like
He does.
I think about the goal a couple years ago when he just kind of gets the ball, runs through, does a little cutback. I forget who does he drop. Was it Dallo? I don't know, or was it? Yeah, I think it's Dallo's coming in for like a block, and he just like slides right past him.
Yeah. He kind of faints back slightly, and
Yep.
I remember that.
Yeah, and so he likes a good goal in a United game. So he got the start. Adalio's back from AFCON. I think he's one of those strengths in the midfield for them. And then Lisandro Martinez is also like firmly back in the squad as well, and really shores up that defense for United. Context wise, we have a new manager for Man United. Caretaker, is he caretaker? Or is he just he's caretaking right now, right?
Yeah. He's caretaker manager right now.
Yeah,
Maybe
so
not for long.
yeah, Carrick has been a caretaking manager. If he does well, he may prove something else. And funnily enough, last time Carrick was caretaking, United beat Arsenal as well. So that was actually kind of a really fun, not fun. That was a sad fact I discovered. Apart from that, Arsenal has really, even though they've been dominant outside the league, they've coming off of 2 draws in a row in the league. But apart from that, Arsenal has 14 wins in 16 home games, 0 losses, and they've been
Crazy.
they've been unbeaten the last 6 Premier League games, which isn't as significant or as great as it could be. But they've been some hard games. But this was the last time Arsenal lost at home was in May last year. So it's been a minute.
Was that Villa?
Yes, I believe
Yeah.
it was Villa. Yeah, it was the Villa game last year.
It's nuts.
And also another thing is the last United win at the Emirates was 7 years ago in the FA Cup. So United has not won at the Emirates in over 7 years. And this was the third year in a row, or the 6th straight game that Arsenal has won against United. United has never gone more than 6 without beating Arsenal in their history together.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, so there's a lot riding in on this. overall. And it's a big game. It's a big rivalry. It's still a big rivalry. People may argue that it hasn't been as hot as it's been in the past, obviously, but it's still a big rivalry overall.
I'd say, like, from my perspective, they're two of the kind of more widely followed fan bases in the Premier League.
Mm-hmm.
So, and by virtue of that, regardless of whether they're both at their pomp, Arsenal are, but United obviously haven't been, I still think it's a huge match either way.
Yeah. I mean, it's a huge match. People are waiting for this match, and they're just, I mean, both locally and internationally, like United is a huge team globally.
Yeah.
Just my dad's a United fan. He became a United fan in the 70s, and so it's just it's just
And so is Arsenal. Like, just huge club. But two huge clubs coming up against one another. Maybe both of them aren't like competing. Both of them aren't competing for league titles.
Yeah.
But it's still a huge game either way.
Yeah. It's still a big game. But let's get into the game and kind of what I was observing throughout it. So Arsenal was playing a 4-3-3 in their own half, and then a 4-2-2 while in United's half, just kind of pushing up a little bit more. We had that partnership up top, and this has been kind of common in how Arsenal has been playing overall, bringing up Jesus, and then actually Odegaard kind of slots up next to Jesus as this other central attacking presence. They have an overload in Arsenal's midfield, but once again, when they're playing up high, we have Odegaard, who is up there but isn't playing well right now. He was 67% inaccurate passing up there and 40% ground duels won. So I'm really curious about, like, I like that he's playing more attacking football, but when I'm looking at Odegaard, it just feels like he's uncomfortable up there. Did you see this game? Did you observe any of that?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. It's difficult, isn't it? Because, like, when I think of Odegaard, the football player, I think of a guy that is very good at keeping the ball moving.
Mm-hmm.
When I see, I'll be honest with you, when I see stats like that for Odegaard, like that specific 67% accurate passing stat, to me it sounds like he's actually taking a little bit more risk.
Yeah.
As opposed to what he would typically do, with all due respect to him, is keep it ticking. I think the 67%, I mean, it's probably a bit lower than you would expect because he has a bunch of volume.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, it makes me sound like he's taking some more risk there. Overall, based on like actual eye test, he looked. It's difficult to say. Like, I think his best position, at least for me, is kind of like in that right-hand side half space where he can feed Saka.
Mm-hmm.
And in this game, I think he was playing a little bit more like central zone 14, less on that right half space, but definitely there, but still taking some space in the middle. And he looked a bit, I don't know, I think maybe it is the term uncomfortable, but not quite being as decisive as you'd expect him to be.
Yeah, I feel like I'm used to watching Odegaard dominating that space, really directing the play. But he also, in this game, it felt for me he was more waiting for the play rather than directing it. And that could be like an evolution of what we want him to do, which I think is fine. I think we kind of need it. And I do like your take on him being a bit more brave and taking more chances, because, yeah, we do need to do that. We need to be a bit more positive and take those chances. I kind of kept seeing the same play over and again, where the wingers would get wide to receive the ball. Saka would basically dribble right past shot every single time to the byline and then cross it and then do a little pass back. But there was really no one there, or there were too many defenders congesting that space for us to produce anything in that space.
I would say, like, a trend consistently throughout this game for me was Arsenal being unwilling to pass balls into dangerous areas in the final third.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, like, I think you saw, I mean, really throughout the whole of the game, maybe a bit less in the second half, but definitely in the first half, a bunch of possession from Arsenal. Like, United were basically playing relatively deep. I don't know if I could say they were comfortable all the time because of just the way the physicality Arsenal play with. But I'd say, given the amount of possession you had, they probably weren't in as dominant a position as you'd expect them to be.
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't feel like they were dominant. Like, the tempo wasn't there. We talked about tempo over and over, and how Arsenal had to increase that tempo to to kind of to really break down and switch the play, transition quickly.
Yeah.
There were a couple times that happened, and there was a period in the 14th minute was one that I noticed, and the 18th minute where both times you win the ball in the half, you do some quick passes through. Gabriel Jesus wins the ball. He makes a quick pass to Odegaard. He makes another great pass to Declan Rice. What surprised me was this time, typically you'd expect Timber to be out on the wide, on that right side to get the ball out wide at the edge of the box and then, either take a shot or pass it in. But it was Saliba this time because Timber was a bit more central. And so Saliba getting that ball and trying to pass it back, he didn't know where to go. He probably should have flashed across Deadman's over to Saka, but he actually passed it back to Declan, and it was just not a great pass. Declan really couldn't get a shot. The shot was blocked, but you could really see that like there was something new that Arsenal was trying with who were in different spaces for this game.
I can I add to that? I think that's down to typically how teams man press you. I mean, we've seen in several games where Arsenal face like man-oriented pressing structures that when their centre backs have the ball, they're typically allowed to roam, and I think a lot of that could be down to the fact that they don't identify Saliba as one of the really dangerous people in possession.
Yeah,
And it's smart that Timber can rotate in with him to allow Saliba to kind of occupy that space.
yeah.
It's interesting. I actually I like that as a solution. I don't know if you want Saliba in possession in the box a lot.
Yeah.
But
Well, actually, I think what would be really good there, and what I'd like to see is if we continue doing this, I want to put Rice there.
yeah,
Like if you have Rice playing more of a central and a center back position, that's what he's done before, but that's also what he does on the pitch with Saka, with Odegaard. So if we take that little triangle and make it a little box with Rice now, I feel a bit more comfortable than Saliba. And once again, like Saliba is growing into the game. He's learning a new position. He's learning some new things. But I would really like to see what that would look like if we have both Rice and Timber on at the same time in that kind of role.
yeah. I think the issue is like the side Rice plays ultimately. Because he's not like he's left side dominant typically, isn't he, Rice?
White, not Rice. Sorry.
White, yeah. White makes a bunch of sense.
Did I keep saying Rice over and over again?
You did, yeah, you did.
My bad. Yeah,
you're
no,
good.
no. Yeah, no, I meant White. They're all the same to me.
Makes a bunch of sense.
My
I mean,
bad.
white rice, right?
Yeah, white rice. White rice is exactly what I was thinking. Anyways, moving on. Yeah, so like I appreciate that we're trying new things and trying to make a change and not just play the horseshoe or the donut. Obviously, we did. We'll get into that in the second half, but yeah, in the 37th minute, we get the ball. It's a great little pass across from I want to say Miles over to Saka. He gets it over to Odegaard. I'm not sure if Odegaard is expecting to kind of, Odegaard does what he needs to do. He kind of swipes at the ball. I'm not sure if it's supposed to be a shot, but it deflects off of Martinez and goes in. And Owen shows up for us once again, which was what has been happening over and over again.
I thought the movement from Martinez was a bit bizarre.
Mm-hmm.
It's bizarre enough for it to just somehow end up in the net there, but I think you take 1-0 how you can get it in that scenario.
Yeah, absolutely. But like we still weren't confident after that goal. Even though we had the goal earlier in that period, it just seemed like Arsenal didn't have that control still. And we see that devolve into what happens on the other side of the pitch with Mbeumo scoring 8 minutes after Arsenal score.
Really bad by Zubimendi.
Yeah. Zubimendi has that mishit. And I've seen a lot of different analysis on this. Rice was expecting a bounce pass, and Zubimendi should do a bounce pass, a little 1-2 into Rice's path so we can progress up. Or he could pass it over to Timber, and so we can progress the ball up. But I think there's this idea of the control and resetting where Zubimendi, if he wasn't expecting the pass, kind of whiffs it across backwards, makes a horrible pass right to Mbeumo. And Mbeumo, takes it right around Raya, makes the goal. I don't know how anyone else could have gotten there to make the block. I think Gabriel was close. If he had made that block, it would have been huge. But honestly, yeah, just a real poor mishit from Zubimendi.
Yeah, it's just like I think like as fans we have the propensity to overanalyze situations like this a bit, but ultimately it comes down to, at least for me, just don't make that worst decision.
Yeah.
Do anything else with the ball.
Yeah.
Just don't do that. And I think, like you said, he tries to play it back inside, and he mishits it. I
Yeah.
would say I think it is a good finish from Mbeumo.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think it's a great finish from Momo. I think what bothers me the most about it is like this actually was like I've seen this same kind of play about 2 years ago. At the beginning of last season, the end of the previous season, when we'd make these poor decisions defensively and we'd give up really easy goals, and so it kind of regressed to that a little bit, and so it was kind of just frustrating to watch that overall.
Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah, yeah. We go into the half, 1-1. Yes, we got a lucky little own goal. We made a horrible mistake, which they capitalized on, but it was time for us to come back out. And Arsenal have been really successful in the beginning of the second half over and over again. We've seen a lot of their goals coming in early in like the first 15 minutes of the second half. And so I was really expecting Arsenal to come out and do really, really well in that first period of the second half.
Yeah.
But what did they do? What did they do?
Horseshoe of death.
Horseshoe of death. Well, but and I'll say this: United was really focusing on the left side, was playing really well, like in this little 5-person block box with Shaw, Jogu, Fernandez, Menu, and Martinez.
Bunch of really like tidy interplay consistently.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was quite impressive, and the biggest takeaway actually for me is how they were passing in structures. United.
Yep.
It didn't look like how can I say this without like going overly nerdy? It didn't look like standard positional play.
Yep.
Like we build up in a 5-2-3, we build up in a 2-2-3-5. It looked like a bunch of players essentially clustering to be passion options, which for anyone that kind of there's two types of football. We've touched on this before. There's like relationism and there's positional play, and it looked like relationist philosophy there. Like a bunch of players essentially clustered around the ball in a very tight area of the pitch, and they end up creating a gorgeous chance from it.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it is. It's relationalism. It's a fluid tactical philosophy. And then a part of that is also like the tabella, right? That's the person who stands in one spot and waits to receive the ball so that they can give the ball away. And that's exactly what happened in that goal with Bruno. He could have made a run forward, but he stood his spot, waited for the ball, fed the ball into Drogu, and then Drogu just, man, what a shot.
Dorgu.
Sorry, Dorgu, what a shot. Like we'll go into that shot, but like think it was
Reminds me
happening
of that
so
Patrice Evra goal, man. It's so similar to that Patrice Evra goal. Like just fucking smashes it. Probably from a little bit further out. Like it's United left backs we're talking about.
Yeah.
Great fucking crazy. It was like one of those things where I wasn't watching completely closely at the time, and all of a sudden it was just boom, and I was like, "Oh my god, what happened?"
Yeah. It was funny. I actually had the exact opposite feeling. I was watching very closely. I'm like, they're about to tear us apart, aren't they? Like they're gonna get through, and it's gonna be a wonder goal, and it's gonna happen. And I just felt it. I felt it coming, and I was watching it the Bluefit, and you could just hear all the wind just like go out of the room. We're just like, great, all right, this is fantastic. We love this.
Did you guys get a decent turnout?
Yeah, it's a pretty big game, so it was a pretty decent turnout. There was plenty of United fans too who were cheering at that point. So yeah.
I can only imagine.
Yeah, after that goal, once again, it felt like Arsenal were frazzled. They did have a bit more possession of the ball. I think that's mainly because United were a bit more comfortable. They were going to give it that possession and stay really condensed and block out those passes. Arsenal continued doing their little play of going to the byline, trying to cross it in, do a cutback in. And then it was time for a quadruple change. You don't see quadruple changes often, but it came on. It was Gyökeres, Eza, White, and Zubimendi, and Marino came off. And then Timber goes to the left. Declan kind of tucks into that 6 and lets Marino play a little higher. And I think what they were trying to do is trying to get some bigger target men up at the top for some of the long balls and create a bit more direct football and trying to get the ball up quickly. Maybe, and maybe just kind of bully.
Yeah.
some of the center backs, specifically, Shaw and Martinez, right? And
I,
I think that's really what they were trying to do for that.
I'd say it kind of worked, to be honest with you.
Yeah, yeah.
It basically results in a goal, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there was I think like they were focusing on their creativity against on the right side of the pitch, but then once again, for a couple of minutes there, United got into Arsenal's box. People didn't. I just saw a confused defense. I don't think they knew who they were supposed to mark or what
Yeah.
zone they need to be in if they weren't marking individual men. And we'll talk about that a little later. But then, yeah, at the 75th, we have Madueke on for Trossard. I like Madueke. I really thought that Martinelli should have been the one who came on for this game. One, I feel like what that forces you to do is either play Madueke on the left or switch Saka to the left. And if you just do a position for position and let Saka stay on, because you're not trying to save Saka's minutes here, he's going to play the minutes. You just have someone who's a bit more comfortable on that left side, like Martinelli, and you could have, I think, had a bit more creativity rather than kind of what had happened and what continued to happen with this like inverted pass from White to Madueke overall. And when they were doing that, I noticed that it's okay to keep trying this, but like it feels like the touches were just heavy. Like they weren't sure of this tactic, so they kept overhitting it over and over again.
It's funny actually because when you were talking about like I thought I thought Martinelli should have been the sub. For
Yeah.
me at that stage of the game, I was just crying out for someone to beat a man
Yeah.
because like I think Saka has a chance on the 82nd minute where he basically shows his man on the inside
Hmm.
and guy overbites, kind of actually going on the outside, and Saka hits it like really low. I think it's
Yeah.
what actually creates your corner that
Hmm.
you actually score from.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like for me, it was like, where was this like most of the half? Where are like people trying to beat a man and be direct? So that's kind of where I think Martinelli comes involved.
Yep.
But yeah, it pays off in the end though.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we get a corner set piece FC ole ole. Got the Marino goal. Yeah, I like keeper completely misses it. I felt like it was almost another own goal, but we had Marino there who puts it in. They still kick it out, but it
Yeah.
crosses the line, it crosses the plane, and it's a goal. And this is kind of like this is when I'm like, okay, Arsenal needs to figure it out because we come right off that goal, literally right after the celebration, and everyone just kinds of loses concentration for this goal. I think what in the build up, United does some great interplay, plays
Yeah.
that relational football again. Cunha gets the ball, and then Sesko makes a great little diagonal run,
Yeah, he does. Brings him
and
away.
that brings Gabriel away just for that millisecond to where he can't be where he needs to be. And, Kuna has a great hit, goes in the back of the net. I rewatched it. I can say that I feel like David Raya should have done a little better on that, especially kind of drifting over as he saw Cunha going over. But I can also say like maybe Gabriel's body was just, what was in the way. But overall, it was a good goal. And, Cunha had plenty of time to take the shot. If you give someone that much time, they're going to take it.
I think it's harsh, man. I think it's such a fucking good finish. I think the difference, right, is he gets the ball, he turns quickly. David Raya has to see him turn. He obviously sees him running towards the goal, but
Mhm.
like where he hits it and how he bends it around Gabriel, man,
Yeah,
crazy finish. We've actually
yeah,
seen him do this a few times.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And then, yeah, game kind of like, I mean, at that point, everyone's just upset. There's 7 minutes of injury time. Not really. I mean, Arsenal has a couple of chances going up, but they can't finish it. Then there's
Like the Gyökeres clearance.
like the Joker's, yeah, that was. I mean, I guess he fouled. I forget who it was as he was going for it, but then even if you did do that, getting just a nice little touch and to Saka so we can put it in would have been fantastic because then they'd have to go back and be like, was that actually a foul?
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, that Joker's clearance ended it.
I thought they were quite comfortable United in injury time.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
Ultimately, I think overall, I think they defend quite well on the day.
Hmm.
Although you generate a bunch of XG because that's typically how Arsenal play. They get a bunch of chances
Hmm.
or like situations where they can score ultimately. How do you feel like coming out of that game from an Arsenal fan?
Coming out of that game, I think I wasn't as upset as
Yeah.
I was coming out of the Forest game.
Yeah. Okay. Do you feel like a little bit, at least for me, you're like, we've just been undone by two absolute worldies here?
Yeah, yeah. I think like I've been, yeah, well, we've been undone because we gave the space and made errors for worldies to happen. So yeah, we've had defensive mistakes and we were not, our heads weren't right. But also, yeah, there were two amazing, amazing shots. I could argue three amazing shots,
Yeah.
but like two just fantastic shots. I mean, like we're gonna get into good or lucky, but at the same time, like I'm not gonna be upset. Well, I will be upset that we should have beat that, but you know, United beat City last week,
Yeah.
and that's something to say. They're running off of a lot of confidence. They're playing really well together. They have a new system that they're trying out, and sometimes that is just better than the kind of like squad depth and that you could say that Arsenal have and the talent that Arsenal have, and
Yeah.
and they went out. Um,
I, I think the goals are just so well worked from United that I'm like, well, the fuck can you do about that type of
yeah,
thing?
yeah, exactly.
The play to create those goals as well is like very, very good.
Yeah, it's almost the exact same play and catches Arsenal out twice
Yeah.
in two different ways.
Just kind of like directness, but like one touch, super quick interplay,
Hmm.
releases players in specific positions, and bang, ultimately they
Yeah,
take advantage of crazy opportunities.
yeah, yeah, exactly. I have a couple of fun facts or not so fun facts. So the last time Man United came back from behind to win at Arsenal was February of 2005.
Wow,
Uh, yeah,
it's a long time.
the last time Arsenal conceded 3 goals at home was against Brighton in 2023. And that was the game where they lost, and that all just basically made City the de facto like winners of the league. And then last time Arsenal any like had conceded 3 in the Premier League was at Luton, which they came back from.
That's the Declan
So
Rice bullshit, wasn't it?
that
That
was the
fucking
Declan
last
Rice.
minute. I
Yeah, that was
think
the
we've
Declan
touched
Rice.
on that 2 times in these podcasts, by the way. So
We
that's
have.
come up more than once, but that's
Yeah.
pretty funny.
Okay, let's lots of goals. Let's get into lucky or good. Starting with 1-0, 29 Martinez own goal. I mean, I think as a rule it's lucky, but let's talk about it a little bit. I think like the build up for it was really good. Ball over the top. Sorry, it was in copy and not Miles.
It's decent play.
Yeah.
Odegaard has like he completely miscues it, and
Yep.
it's the same dude. It's the same fucking situation as Timber, but someone just
Yeah.
happens to be on the end of it.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's a miscue. Timber almost gets a goal, but it hits Martinez's heel
Yeah.
and goes in, and it's lucky. I also this goal was so unlucky for me. I'm just gonna give me a second. So I had Dorgu and Martinez on my fantasy lineup this week. I decided to bench Dorgu because I was like, you know what? I feel like we're gonna lock him down. We're gonna be fine. And I put in Martinez because I thought that he was gonna have a bunch of DEFCON. And when that goal went in, and I was just like, I can't believe we have an own goal from Martinez, which I feel
Yep.
really great about. The worst part about it is an own goal is -4 points in fantasy. I
Brutal.
lost by 3 points this week.
So Odegaard scuff shot cost you.
Exactly. But you know what's really funny? I have Odegaard too, and he got the assist for it. So
Okay, so it kind of equals out a little bit. Yeah,
yeah, kind
it's
of.
funny.
Anyways, that one was lucky. Next, Mbuemo.
Lucky.
XG on this goal was 11. X got 18. It comes from a Zubamendi error.
It's
Good
such
press,
a.
good anticipation, and he makes his yeah.
It's just such a like. It's you're gifted a goal basically. At least for me, I would say, and the thing to like argue here, he does well to score it in the end.
Yeah.
Raya's coming
Yeah.
out to him. He manages to take it past him. I'm gonna say lucky because of the situation, but I think you could argue either way. But I'm gonna say lucky.
No, I would say lucky. Like that goal would not have happened if Zubamendi had not swiped at the ball. So it was Zubamendi being unlucky. And honestly, like Mbeumo was just like in the right place at the right time. It was just
Yeah,
very, very perfect for him.
crazy.
Okay. Next. XG on this one was 0.04. X got was 0.07.
Crazy.
crazy.
This is the Dorgu. This is the Dorgu goal.
Yeah, this
So
is the Dorgu goal.
I think we just have to say good because of how well he hits it. But like, he might never score that goal again. It's the same as fucking Harrison Reed.
Yeah, absolutely. I think when this goal when this goal went in, the announcer said that that's like he's never going to score like that for United ever again.
Crazy
like,
finish.
Crazy finish. Yeah, hits the top. It's really funny because it hits the low XGOT is actually because it's off the bounce.
Yeah.
It's not even because it hit the crossbar and went in. It's because it hit the crossbar, had a spin, bounce, and then went in. Yeah,
crazy.
So
he hits that so hard.
Yeah, hits it really hard. Good build up for it. Next is Marino, the 2-2. Scott G on this is 0.38. XCOT 0.92. I mean, he was in the middle of the penalty area, and he just kind of, ball dropped to him and he hit it straight in. So I'm gonna say.
Did you see the people were sharing still frames of the 6-yard box when that goes in? Did you see that?
No, what?
Mad. It's like almost all the players on the pitch in the 6-yard box.
Really? That's I mean, I want to say
one word:
chaos,
utter chaos.
Yeah,
but it's like
chaos.
It is pure haram. It's absolute pure haram.
Absolutely.
But like you cannot. The difficult thing is like I do think a lot of that is luck. But you ultimately, we've seen time and time again how Arsenal create their own luck in those situations. It's why you have such a good record from set pieces. I find it really hard to say that's good, but it is good.
Yeah.
You can't deny that it's good because you find a guy in the box to like, he basically scores an almost guaranteed goal when he hits it.
Yeah, exactly. Like like you see all the people, everyone on the pitch in that in that little area, and the one person who can hit it does hit it, and like has I guess the head to hit it. So yeah,
but it's like it's good because it's well executed. It is yucky, man.
Yeah, it is gross. It is awful. Final goal. Cunha at 84. XG on this was 0.04. XGOT was 0.23. I mean, dude, it was a good goal.
It couldn't be anything else apart from good, man.
Yeah, I was so mad. It's like one of those goals that you see and you're like, I can't be mad at that. Like,
I think Dorgu's goal is amazing, but I think this is a better goal.
I agree. I think Dorgu has a little luck in that he hits the post and he gets the crossbar and it hits the right point of the crossbar to get the spin and go in. Because that could have bounced right out. It could have bounced forward, or it could have, if it was an inch higher, it would have bounced directly back out. But yeah, he played that really well. So that was a good goal.
Like completely bends it around Gabriel. It's like there's nothing Raya can do about it really, because he hits it so hard, so low with such velocity. It's such a crazy finish.
Yeah. It was a wild finish.
Good.
Yeah, good.
Okay, so we've got a 3-2. First Martinez own goal was lucky by virtue of the fact that it's an own goal. And Buemo 37th minute, lucky because we feel the lead up to that goal is a pretty lucky situation. Dorgu's goal, screamer, good. Marino's goal, haram, but they're so good at haram, so it's good. And Cunha, ridiculous finish, good. So that's both Premier League games. Didn't end how either of us wanted to, but you're gonna get that sometimes. And at least for me, I'm used to losing this year, so it makes me more excited when I have to hear about Ben describe a loss for Arsenal. Let's talk about the Champions League. And first thing I'm gonna say, fucking hell, Ben. Do you know what we were talking about the format of the Champions League like last episode, and I was like, I need some time to make sure whether it's good or not. I cannot remember a last day of a Champions League season with as much drama as this one.
Yeah, I think that proves it. Like, this is a good format. So much happened.
Crazy. And like nut stuff happened. We're gonna get into that. But first thing we're going to do is we're going to review the table, and it's good reading for both of us, I'll be honest with you. Arsenal are top, a perfect 8 out of 8. Only 4 goals conceded in the whole competition, which is nuts.
2 of them today.
2 of them today, which is arguably against their worst opponents, which is quite funny. Bayern in second, 8 matches played with 21 points, so one off perfect because of the loss to Arsenal. Liverpool with 18 points, obviously 8 played, and Tottenham Hotspur come fourth, 17 points, which honestly, fair enough to them, dude. You can't deny that. So I don't think they've had the hardest games, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
But like, they've played in such a way that get them over the line here, but fair enough to them. Barca have a scare early in the day, but emphatically win to come fifth with 16 points. Chelsea overcome the odds to a degree. They were away in a difficult ground and managed to win I think it was 3-1, 2-1, and get 16 points.
Mm-hmm.
Seventh place is Sporting, which is a bit of a surprise for me, actually. Last big injury time result to get them through 16 points. And then finally 8th for the automatic qualification spots. Manchester City with 16 points. Kind of win, not emphatically, but comfortably on the day. And then we'll go through 9 to 24. So you've got Real Madrid with 15 points on 9th, 10th Inter with 15 points, PSG 11th with 14 points, which is a surprise to me. Newcastle 12th with 14 points, Juventus 13th with 13 points, super close. Atletico Madrid 14th with 13 points, Atalanta 15th with 13 points, Leverkusen 16th with 12 points, Dortmund 17th with 11 points, Olympiacos 18th with 11 points, Club Brugge with a huge win on the day against Marseille 19th with 10 points, Galatasaray 20th with 10 points. So a bunch of teams on 10 points here. Goal difference makes a huge difference here. Monaco 21st on 10 points. Qarabag 22nd on 10 points, which is big for them. Bodø Glimt sneak through. And speaking of sneaking through, 23rd and 24th, you've got Bodø Glimt and Benfica, both with 9 points. Make it through on like big goal difference. So that's how it ends up. Any surprises to you, really, kind of looking at that table so far?
Overall table, I mean, yeah, like Real Madrid not being in straight to 16 is surprising. I think PSG kind of surprising, but I think PSG kind of play this competition to be in this knockout phase to get an easier seed. I think there's some stuff going on there, which is fine. You do what you want to do. It's
difficult, don't it? Because you'd say like current holders should probably get through somewhat comfortably, but they didn't. Yeah. I think they'll get through either way, but
and current runners up right above them in 10th. So
it's actually a funny point.
Also, I mean, on the flip side, Sporting up to 7th.
Nuts, yeah. Really big win.
Yeah.
What was that game? I think they come back to win like really late in injury time.
Yeah.
But I'll be honest though, like a bunch of games like this today. It's funny because I was writing notes at halftime. Madrid were down 2-1 at halftime. They end up losing 4-2.
Yep.
Against Benfica. They get 2 red cards in injury time, Ben.
Uh-huh.
And it's not even the crazy part. Like, so Benfica need a goal at 3-2 to get them into the Champions League to knock out Marseille. And what the fuck do? A goalkeeper comes into the box. Goalkeeper scores a good header. And I love to see it. It's fucking Mourinho as well against his former club. It is like, it's poetic, actually.
Did you see what happened in the Club Brugge versus Marseille? So they were playing at Club Brugge and they put up a notification saying congratulations for moving forward, Marseille.
I did. I saw that, yeah. That was on the that post show, wasn't it? Like the CBS Sports show. It was brilliant. Yeah. But like the absolute sting for the Marseille fans to see that and get knocked out. But yeah, they fucking fair play to Benfica. They end up sneaking through as well. Chelsea were down 2-1 at halftime. And I was thinking, this could be kind of difficult for Chelsea, but they end up turning it around. Really, really good football by Cole Palmer. Joao Pedro comes on and changed the game. They end up winning 3-2. Newcastle managed to hold it at 1-1 at the Parc des Princes, which actually was pretty surprising to me. The actual thing I find funny is Anthony Gordon coming out saying all of that stuff, and they end up getting a goal from like a very direct moment. It's just kind of karma to a degree. They end up holding PSG to 1-1, which I thought is pretty big result. I think Dembele misses a pen early in that game, which would have saw them through automatically, but they didn't get it done. Barcelona were down 1-0 at halftime, and I thought, this could be tough too, given how open Barcelona could be. But given how open they could be and how much better they were than Copenhagen, they ended up winning 4-1. Bayern 0-0 at halftime. I thought that could have been kind of close, but they ended up winning 2-0 pretty comfortably. Although they had 10 men for some part of that game, like at least half an hour, because Kim Min-jae gets sent off. Some other thing, Bodo beat Atleti away at the Wanda Metropolitano, which is nuts. Back to back, they've beaten Manchester City and Atletico Madrid to get through in the Champions League. Fair play to Bodo Glimt.
Yeah, I think Bodo Glimt they have it in them. Like we have like the best leagues across Europe in this competition.
Yeah.
And you see why they're the best teams in their leagues.
Absolutely.
Yeah, really, really good on them.
And then Sporting, as we touched on, they beat Bilbao in stoppage time to make it into the top 8, which is huge for them. That's how the table looks. I think, it kind of sets me straight on the format, to be honest. Like, I was kind of buzzing near the end of these games because we don't see that a lot in these types of competitions. So I was really happy with how the ending of the kind of group stage went, Ben.
Yeah. I think it was a fun little ending to the group stage. Actually, I was watching it on my lunch at home, and like it was like as it was getting close to the end, I was like, man, it kind of would have been fun to see all these games like together at the same time at the pub.
Yeah, imagine being able to like have a bunch of TVs and watching them on each of the TVs. It'd have been a bunch of fun.
Yeah.
Let's get into the games briefly then, Ben. Let's start. Actually, let's turn it around. Let's start with Arsenal Kairat first.
Yeah, of course. Arsenal, Kairat. I did a little research on Kairat because I hadn't really seen them before. Looking at where they are, generally, they are from Kazakhstan. Am I right? Yes. They are in first place in their league right now. They tend to, play very confidently in that league, but in the UCL, obviously, they're going to be a bit more compact, a little more deep. They want to absorb the pressure and then, maintain the overall organization from teams who have the ball a lot more. And you can kind of see like their hesitancy because they have not won a game in this entire competition.
No. I think they finished on 1 point, didn't they?
Yeah, they had one draw, so they finished on 1 point. They've conceded an average of 2.7 goals per match. This is the first time that they've ever reached the group phase, and they reached it by knocking out Celtic in the qualifying, which is kind of wild, but makes a lot of sense knowing where Celtic is right now on the table.
Yeah, definitely.
This is the first time they've met Arsenal in their club history in a competition. So yeah, I thought it was going to be a pretty interesting game. Like it's at the Emirates. I mean, for the players and the fans, it's kind of a cool thing when you get to go to like a club like Arsenal. I'm not trying to disparage any other clubs, but I think that's what this competition's about, right? Travel, seeing other clubs, playing in places that you don't get to play in normally.
Shows the strength of the squad, actually, because you guys make a few changes from your starting 11, and I still think you have a pretty strong team in your first 11.
Yeah. Kai starts. Was happy to see him finally get a start. He hasn't had a start since February of last year.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, he had that injury. He came back, and even after the injury, he didn't start. So yeah, Kappa got the start in the Champions League. Norgard had a start as a center back. Calafiori's back. He got the start, and then Ben White captains, which I was actually kind of surprised about.
Is he your who's your like co-captain? It must be Saka, right?
Yeah, Saka is like the co-captain, but Saka wasn't on. Odegaard wasn't on.
Makes sense.
And then usually if Saka and Odegaard aren't on, then it's Gabriel, but Gabriel wasn't on, so it was Ben. Yeah, so jumping into the game, honestly, like just starting at the beginning, I was so frustrated about how horizontal the game was against United, and it was really good to see how much more positive and vertical the game was. And we saw it immediately with a goal in the second minute. Havertz places the ball in Gyökeres's path. Gyökeres puts it in the right place and breaks through and just like puts the ball on net.
Kind of battered through, didn't it? Like, it was the type of thing where he makes that vertical run we've all been saying he likes to make. Mm-hmm. And there's not been someone that gives him the type of pass he wants to get. Yep. And as soon as you give it to him, I thought the touch was stinky, but he makes the absolute best of it, puts it down in his path, and the finish is great.
Yeah. It was a good finish. It was a point 0.1 on XG and a 1.3 on XGOT, and I think
Yeah,
a part of that just shows like the difference in keeper standards and defensive standards. Like we broke that defensive line so easily, and like he takes that shot from the edge of the box, and it was going in. He had a lot of pace on it. So very first goal, really really easy. And as Arsenal do, in the very next minute, we let a ball come through the top. Calafiori, maybe he's rusty. Maybe he thought he'd get away with it. Maybe he didn't know he was inside the box, but pulls a shirt. I mean, I think Jorginho goes down pretty easily, but that's kind of what you do in that position. And it's a pen.
do you
Takes
think
a
it was
good
a
pen.
pen?
It has to be in that situation. It has to be a pen if you're going to grab the shirt like that when the person was going to be able to get the ball. It kind of, I think it has to be a pen in that situation.
It's a bit soft because he's kind of it looks a bit
Yeah.
harsher for me because he's running the opposite way and then turns back. But because you see like that, you actively see Calafiori's arm like pulling his shirt. I think VAR are probably always going to give that.
Yeah. I mean, I think VAR will always give that. I think I'm okay with that. Like Calafiori made a mistake. Like if that wasn't given to Arsenal, would I be upset? Probably would be upset. Be like, yeah, that's a pen. So I think that's kind of where I'm placing my judgment. Like I think it's very soft, but I will take a soft pen any day.
Yeah.
Yeah. After that, Arsenal was really maintaining that 4-4-2 out of possession. It was nice seeing kind of Havertz up top with Gyökeres. And as you mentioned, like I feel like they're playing really well together. I don't know if they've been
Yeah.
doing that in training. I think
It looked
it's
like
a
a good
good matchup.
connection.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, in the 15th minute, Arsenal get another goal. Ben White over the top to Havertz. Havertz puts it in his path. He just looks so calm when he goes for this goal. Like he just he just kind of like jaunts down the field. He like does a little cutback. He puts his head up. He's like, "I'll take one more touch," and then he just kind of like
That's the one where he
strikes it
cuts
in.
inside, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I thought that goalkeeping was terrible, dude. He dives past the ball.
It was, yeah. So it's really fun. So this is a 0.07 xg, and it's also a 0.13 xgot. This has even less xg, but the exact same xgot. So yeah, once again, like just not as good keeping, and that's what happens
Poor
sometimes.
Kairat. We're just
Yeah,
dogging on Kairat, dude. They don't need to be catching strays from us.
yeah. Um, yeah, and so I think overall, like what I really liked in this game was how Kai was kind of directing the midfield. He was doing the job that Odegaard usually does, saying like, "Hey, press now, move over," like giving positional instructions, pressing instructions overall. And then later on, one thing I do want to call out was Madueke's close control. Like this looked like a team who felt comfortable and confident. And in the 26th minute, I'm not sure if you saw the highlight or you saw this, but there's this moment of close control that Madueke has in the box where he turns around and he just looks like, I know he looks like he's playing five-a-side against some people on the streets. I feel so bad for making fun of him, but it was just really silky smooth. But he doesn't pull the trigger early enough, and he can't get a shot off, and it gets knocked out. But yeah,
I think
then,
that actually, can I touch on that third goal?
yeah, of
Arsenal?
course.
It's the example again, mate, where someone plays forward passes and they move the ball quickly. Granted, I think we have to take some kind of like accountants of the opponent here a bit, but like he cuts it across goal, like zips it past, and Martinelli gets a back post. I think it gets reviewed for VAR, doesn't it? But then
Yeah,
it
it
gets
does.
given.
Yeah.
Really good ball across goal from Kai Havertz again now. And I banter Kai Havertz a lot, but mate, he looked really good in this game.
Yeah, no, I think like he was very calm, collected. Like you felt like the game was different when he was on the pitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was a great ball across. I think Gyökeres actually had the ball on target and it would have gone in. And then I think it looked like Martinelli was actually trying not to hit the ball so Gyökeres could have the goal. And this is why I love this kid. Like I think he's like this humble footballer who just wants to play football. And like he accidentally knocks it in while it's on the line and he gets the goal. And even when the goal was given, he was like shaking his head. He's like, no. And he was like trying to give it to Gyökeres. But Gyökeres is like, nah, man, you had the goal. Whatever, I don't care. So it was a really good like team moment coming from like a team goal like that. So that was a really good way to finish that half overall.
I have to say, like going into the second half, some of like Gyökeres's football, mate. He has this. There's this one, and it's a really good pass. I think it's played across goal. He basically clears it out of the 6-yard box.
Yep.
And it is like, it's funny. And there was this chance just before as well, where like it hits him. Anyone else, I think it'd probably gone in right now.
Yeah.
But like it hits him, he doesn't know it's coming, and it goes wide.
Yeah. Before we get into that, yeah. In the second half, it's a completely different. It's a game of two halves, right?
Yeah.
Second half, Odegaard and Nkapia come on. They rest Calafiori and Havertz. Honestly, I think they wanted to pull Calafiori in the 4th minute.
Yeah,
They just decided not to do it, which is fine. And then, it becomes less positive play and more holding play.
Definitely.
I do remember that, and I think that clearance that Gyökeres had, I think he was like, we call this out often, but he's just kind of sometimes on the back foot.
Slow.
And he doesn't anticipate that.
That's the word.
If he was anticipating it, he would have been in the right spot. I mean, Madueke anticipated that so much that he ran across to the back post, and then this is the exact opposite of maybe Gyökeres should have let it go so Madueke could have it on the back post.
Yeah, because it would have been almost a tap-in, really, for Madueke.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just funny. He's a funny footballer to me, Gyökeres, man.
Yeah. But I thought Martinelli was really great again on the left side. That you saw this brilliant run and how much control Martinelli can have, and when he's confident with the ball, what he can do. And we touched this about the United game, and that's why I want to see Martinelli in the United game, because he knows what to do. And yes, maybe Kairat is different than United, but at least he knows that space. He knows what he's doing in that space. He knows how to get around. And Bukayo Saka is a great player. He started as a left wing back, but I think Martinelli just made that his position.
I would say actually, you touched on the subs just now. You could see how much the game slows down when Martin Odegaard is on the pitch. I presume he comes on for Kai Havertz.
Mm-hmm. He comes on for Havertz.
You could see touching how I was saying how vertical Havertz was a lot of the game, playing the ball forward quickly. You could see how, with all due respect to him, as soon as Odegaard comes on the pitch, a lot of that verticality it goes away.
Yeah, it absolutely does. It becomes a lot less vertical, becomes a bit more control. And as I was watching this, I was like, are we just at a training exercise? What are we doing now?
I think you bring him on to say, hey, conserve energy.
Yeah.
Kill the game off. But it is a noticeable shift from game approach is what I mean.
Yeah. I think it was very much all right, this is what we are going to be doing for the rest of the half. And if we just look at how he was doing during that time, Odegaard had 2 shots on target during that time. So it wasn't he wasn't producing anything overall. He was there in good spaces, taking shots. Maybe they were directly at the keeper, but he did all right.
Yeah.
But yeah, the last quarter of the game felt like it was a training exercise. There was Madueke making runs to the byline and doing cutbacks. Everything we've seen in the last 2-3 weeks. Center backs doing diagonal passes over the back. Everything we've seen is okay, so we're just practicing now. This is practice. All right, fantastic. And then after that, Gyökeres is off. Gabriel Jesus comes in. Martinelli is off, and 17-year-old Bailey Joseph comes on. I like to follow the academy. I wasn't sure who this person was, but I'm glad that we are able to get additional minutes to people. One, give them this experience of playing at home and this wonderful opportunity. But I will say we kind of lose we increase our tempo and have a few more chances, but we just don't finish. We can't find the end of the game. And Gabriel Jesus has some great runs through half spaces. There's a lot of great progressive balls. I think one of the goals that they had was ruled off sides, which is okay. That's fine. At least we're making it through. But I think what happens is we just kind of end the game for Arsenal early, and we get another goal at the death. And so for me, it's just hey, we're having fun, and it's just ruined by this festering complacency, as I want to call it, of we don't want to kill it off. If we had another goal, Kairat would have been all right, we're done. We wanna not play this game anymore.
Yeah, I kind of felt Kairat scored because the intensity turned way down for Arsenal, and ultimately it does turn out to be a consolation goal for 3-2.
Yeah,
but it's not how you want to finish out games, really, is it?
No, no, not at all.
I
It was
understand.
just it was just kind of frustrating overall. But yeah, I mean, Arsenal had dominant possession, 66% overall in the game, a 4.06 xG, 25 total
Low.
shots, 11 on target, 9 big chances. So yeah, I think overall, like I think they had over 500 accurate passes. So like very dominant side, exactly what we expected
Yeah.
for this game overall. I think there was one really fun stat that I want to share, which has been submitted by a longtime show listener, Jer. Kai Havertz is the first Arsenal player to score against a team who shares the first 3 letters of his name, Kai,
Okay.
since Lee Dixon scored against Leeds, Lee, 1996.
That's a banging stat, man.
I love that stat.
Great stat.
If that stat is actually false and there is something else, I would love to hear it.
I
Please
mean,
tell us.
it might be the first Arsenal player to do it, but like, I want it to be true because it's more fun. So,
Yeah,
so let's go with it. But
yeah.
I like
But
it.
that's that was Arsenal Kairat. I mean, it was a feel good game overall
Yeah.
until the last second, but it's still a feel good game to have come out with 8 wins in the group phase, sitting at the top of the table. Happy for that. But
For sure.
that was Arsenal. How what was your day like for Liverpool?
A lot of fucking fun, Ben. And I don't get to say that very often this season. I'll be honest with you. So like I'd say coming into the game, it was kind of tight at the top. I think with a draw, we'd have gone through automatically either way. But we go kind of strong because it is kind of tight at the top, and a couple changes happen. Gomez, obviously, as I touched on earlier, was injured in that game, so Gravenberch starts at centre back. Wirtz plays in midfield with Gakpo on the left, and then Robertson starts over Kirkes. Another sickener really early in the game. 3rd minute, Frimpong falls down. It looks like, so I don't know, because I saw a bunch of people saying it was a hamstring injury. To me,
Mm-hmm.
it could very well also be like a groin or hip flexor injury.
Okay.
But either way, he looked down. He looked kind of fucked, frankly. Like he knew he needed to go off. They subbed him immediately for Endo. Poor fucking Endo, man. He's like so undercooked, but he's having to come in and basically play 2 full 90s.
Yeah.
Did very well though during the game. I'll give you a stat about Jeremy Frimpong actually. So Jeremy Frimpong is the first Liverpool player to start a match but be subbed off within 4 minutes in any fixture since Mark Lawrenson, one of the best centre backs to ever play for the club, in 1985 European Cup final.
Oh wow.
And
Okay.
another crazy stat about that sub. Do you want to hear another one?
Yeah.
He is the 22nd player to get subbed off through injury for Liverpool this season. That already breaks Klopp's record in 2021, and it's only
Jeez.
late January.
Oh my god.
So, like, I think that's telling of what we've seen so far. Lots of
Yeah.
niggles, lots of very annoying situations. But ultimately, the way the game goes, Ben, I couldn't be any happier. Liverpool like demonstrate a bunch of like dominant possession really early, and we go 1-0 up quite early in the game in the 13th minute. I would say like a takeaway though during that period is I still think, look, Qarabag are what they are, right? I don't think they're not a world class side by any means.
Mm-hmm.
But still, the ease of which they play through us at times in that first half kind of bugs me. But we'll go on the happier stuff for a bit. Third, like a really nice, like Salah-esque ball kind of gets put over the top, and I already know what's coming. Like Liverpool playing quite quick vertically, and
Yeah.
then we end up scoring through like a crazy corner situation. It's like corner gets blasted through, kind of bounces around a bit, and McAllister, capital A, anticipates the ball coming to that back post and manages to scramble it across the goal. And we scored relatively early from that. After that, kind of relatively soon after that, Wirtz gets slipped through by Ekitike. Really nice slip through ball. He's kind of on the edge of the box. Imagine where the D is.
Yeah.
He looks at the goalkeeper, gives him the eyes, and he smashes it in his bottom left to put us 2-0. And really at that stage, I kind of feel like we're feeling relatively comfortable, like we're going to win this game. And
Mm-hmm.
the second half is nuts, but I'll continue on this half for a bit. Liverpool then kind of, I wouldn't say they give up some domination, but you definitely see Qarabag get on the ball a bit more. And
Mm-hmm.
again, the ease of which they play through us at times is alarming. We were going man to man again in that first half because I think that's something Liverpool have been wanting to do. And a big takeaway, at least for me, is McAllister is a liability in that type of pressing system. He's just not physical enough. And you could see consistently throughout the game where he would lose his marker, or like lose his marquee, rather, however you want to put it. And it's really frustrating. It's going to cause issues consistently if they want to play in that system. I think to play in that system in the long run, you need Curtis Jones to play there who's a bit more physical, or you need to give him a different assignment, because I just don't think it's going to work for Mac. Liverpool have some pressure near the end of the half. Either way, we still go into the half at 2-0. We don't concede a lot of chances in that first half. They only generate 0.15 xg. Sorry, Jesus, 1.5.
Yeah, I was like, what? 1.5?
Yeah, it's only point like 5, whatever. Really low. 4 shots, only 1 on target, no big chances. So we've kept them at arm's length for the most part and managed to get 2-0 up. Going really happy, really into that second half. I didn't know I could be as happy as I was near the end of the game, because Liverpool are just emphatic in that second half, really.
Can I talk about the free kick, the Salah free kick?
Yeah.
It was.
Was that the third goal?
I thought it was the.
Actually, that was the fourth. Actually, when was that?
It was. It's been.
It was the third goal. Salah, that was the third goal. It's not often this season we've scored so many goals that I can't remember what order they were scored in, but that was the third goal.
Yeah, I really liked it because that's like, I mean, it's the exact mirror to the Szoboszlai free kick from the other game. Like, and
very
it's
similar.
the same 2-player Szobosz, like dragging people off, putting it back into Salah's path, and I think like that whipped in really well. I think the keeper could have done a little better, but I also think that there was a lot done in order to make sure that the keeper was thrown off. Yeah. It was a really fun goal to watch for me, and I think I mainly call that out because I was like, I want to know how many more times this is going to work. Like, when will teams figure this out? So I'm interested to see if that's going to be a tactic they continue using if they've done it twice in a row like this.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of simple, isn't it? Like, they know where the wall is, and they just put the ball slightly to one side of the wall and have one guy like bend it around the wall. It's a really good finish, and it was honestly. Salah, so I'll be a bit sentimental for a sec. Some of the stuff that Salah has dealt with from our fan base this year, and he basically like looks up to the fans and touches the badge. He's our guy, man, and I love Mohamed Salah. And what ensues from that is just honestly, it's pure Liverpool domination. Whole of the half, you have chance after chance after chance after chance, and I've not seen us do that to a team really the whole of this year, Ben. Like, it was honestly so dominant.
Yeah, it was really good. Yeah, overall.
So fourth goal then. Virgil, actually, crazy stat today. Virgil van Dijk ends up with 3 assists.
Yeah, a hat-trick of assists.
That's nuts, isn't it?
It's crazy. I only know of like one other time that's happened, and that was Trossard last year. He had a hat-trick of assists.
Yeah, it really doesn't happen too often.
Yeah.
Fourth goal comes from like a Virgil van Dijk clearance, basically. Ekitike kind of anticipates that the guy is kind of running towards the ball, like running backwards. Takes it off of one guy, so the guy loses it in a duel, essentially. And then the other guy comes to tackle him, and Ekitike just like this really faint, deft touch, puts it past him, takes advantage to his momentum. And like, I have to say, like, from a Liverpool perspective, Darwin Núñez has scarred me in one-on-ones. A player one-on-one for Liverpool, I'm kind of unsure about. The way he finishes that, like, super hard underneath the goalkeeper, proper striker's finish, and it puts us 4-0 up. And at that point, I'm just like, man, so happy. Like, 4-0 up. I've not seen that a lot this year, and it gets even better for us. Domination continues. Liverpool end up getting a 5th, and it's kind of like, do you know one of those days where a lot goes right for you? It just felt like one of those. Like, I felt as if most situations in the box, Liverpool were taking advantage of scoring, and the defender basically miscues a clearance after like this dummy from McAllister. He means it to run to Ekitike, but the guy misjudges it and miscues it, comes into McAllister's path, and he scores again for 5-0. He has a chance to score his hat-trick as well later in the game, but he doesn't fully take advantage of it. And his our last goal, which is 6-0, which is nuts. Kind of like Virgil van Dijk makes this crazy run where he starts from kind of like the halfway line, keeps going, has some interplay, ends up in like the top left side of the box, and just cuts it back for McAllister. Mac dumbs it and goes straight to Chiesa, and Chiesa finishes it. Like another like late goal by Chiesa to finish 6-0.
Yeah.
Absolutely wild.
Yeah.
Something I would like to say, like Nguma came on as well in that half as well. Like he came on in the 67th minute, and Nioni came on as well for Florian Wirtz. So we actually finally got a chance to rest some of our players during games. When Nguma comes on, he is causing that right back all sorts of issues for the whole of that rest of that half, man. Like super direct, really, really good close control, good with the ball at his feet, like gave him some serious problems. So yeah, the game ends up ending 6-0. Qarabag in that second half only generate 0.06 XG, which is like hardly anything. And I come away like feeling really, really good. In that second half, we create 4.28 XG and like almost a 6 XG in total. So we do really well in that game. I've not seen a game as dominant as that for
Yeah.
Liverpool in a pretty long time. Like maybe even before last season. Like I can't remember a game where I felt like everything has gone right for us in the attacking third.
Yeah. Yeah. I think there are a lot of things in that game which I felt like were positives in that the team felt like they were playing well together, and it could have just been the opposition and what
Yeah,
they were facing.
I think that's part of that.
Yeah, I think that's a part of that, but I also feel like what do you think they should take from that performance into the rest of the league on the Premier League?
Just confidence, man. Like if you've been able to execute like that with one another for this game, yeah, that it is a weaker opponent. We have to take that into account, but you guys can do it. Like it's completely obvious. Some of the football we were playing was really good in the final third, and I just want to see more of it. Ultimately,
Yeah. Yeah.
quick pulse check, and we'll call it a day. Really. So first thing, Ben, Arsenal 8 out of 8 in the Champions League, first team to do it in this new format. I would say we didn't have as strong a squad as you last year, and if we could have rotated with the similar quality of players to you guys had, we might have done it last year. But congratulations on 8 out of 8. How does it feel to be the first team to do it?
It feels really great. And I think like I had to look back and see who we played to actually see like, okay, was this deserved? Like, did we deserve this? And we had Athletic Club, we had Olympiacos, who's actually a bogey team for us in Europe. And we have that Lati, Slavia Prague, which I'm not super worried about, but has bothered us in the past. Then we had Bayern,
Yeah,
which like we got a 3-1 out of Club Brugge, 3-0 out of Inter Milan, which we did a 3-1, and then of course this with Kairat, we really should have not conceded two goals.
eh,
But yeah, but
what
you
can you
know,
do?
it was a different team. I felt really good. I thought it was I felt very good to win all of those matches, and it sets up really well in this format to have that second leg home game all the way through to the semis. So yeah, I'm feeling really good.
Emphatic, I would say, kind of
Yeah,
during this group stage.
yeah.
Yeah, Arsenal finished top 8 out of 8. Kind of touching on Liverpool, this could be like our biggest chance for silverware this year. And
Hmm.
based on how like we've had not the easiest draw, like we played Atleti at Anfield, we played Inter away, we played Real Madrid at Anfield. We've played Galatasaray away, and that was one of the losses. They're typically not an easy team to play away from home, Galatasaray. I feel somewhat comfortable knowing that, our possible opponents will go into that as well. Like in the next round, we've either got Club Brugge, Galatasaray, uh, Juventus, or Atleti. The last two would concern me, but like I think overall, if Liverpool can build like another head of steam in this knockout stage, I really fancy us right now in this competition over two legs. I would say I really wouldn't love facing one of the English teams early on.
Hmm.
I would rather be that later in the tournament.
Yeah.
But right now, I feel quite comfortable. And like I said, really, this could be one of our only chances for a trophy.
Yeah, I will say, looking at the teams that you have, actually, I feel like we're both pretty evenly balanced. Arsenal has Leverkusen, Atalanta, Olympiacos, and Dortmund.
Yeah,
So I feel like it's a pretty, yeah, like there's going to be some tough games there. Potentially, I think you do have a tougher matchup with Juventus and Atletico Madrid, but you know, anything can happen in the Champions League.
it's true. And to be fair, like even against Juventus and maybe a bit less so Atleti, I kind of fancy us over two legs against both of these teams. And because we finished higher, we get the second game at Anfield. and I always give us a bit of an advantage there. Who wouldn't you want to face early on in the tournament? Like, ignore this next round. Who wouldn't you want from like the potential matchups you could get later on? Like, not too later on, but sooner rather than later.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm in the same place. I don't necessarily want to face another English side later on, largely because, I mean, we have a condensed schedule already.
Yeah,
It being in four competitions, I don't want to have to play, you know, let's say someone like City twice in a row or something
yeah.
like that, right? I
Don't
just
want
don't
that.
want to be in that because then we have to balance. Okay, which competition are we gonna prioritize? Yeah, I think that's a big thing. I wouldn't mind facing like an Italian team early on in the competition.
I think for me, like I said, really wouldn't want to face any of the English teams early on. I don't think personally. I think it's more of an advantage to us if we play one of you lot later. So I would rather do that. Uh, you obviously don't want the big guys, like so. I don't want to come across Bayern early.
Hmm.
Barcelona, I think, could like literally blow us away.
Yeah,
That would be a fun game, but I wouldn't want to see it. Obviously, you've got like PSG and Inter. Don't want to face them early on, but I'm kind of somewhat hopeful, really, and I kind of have to be really in this competition because, like I said,
yeah,
could be one of our last chances.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I think like you've done well in this competition. I think it's now time to kind of keep it going.
Yeah, I agree, and hopefully they do. That is the episode 8 of the Regista Football Podcast, guys. Hope you've enjoyed it. As always, we'd appreciate like any comments on any of the platforms we're on. Right now, we're on Spotify and YouTube. Leave a comment, tell us what you think. Any feedback is greatly appreciated. Of course, rate them wherever you are, and give us a follow. We can continue a like relatively strict cadence of introducing new shows, so you guys can get bored of us even quicker. Apart from that. Thank you, everyone. Hope you've enjoyed. See you next time.
Cheers, y'all.